You can't tell. You can't pick them up now.
Good morning, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, and I'm just making sure that you can all copy us on 8779er. This is the first day we've had to move frequencies. We've finally got the Asian annoying fisherman with about 1500 watts by the sound of it here this morning, and so I cannot hear anybody. I think it's stronger, according to Graham in Vavau. Stronger with us than it is with you, but boy, they are certainly very, very loud. But at least I was hearing Graham very well, and so propagation conditions are a lot better this morning than they were yesterday. The people that did a radio check yesterday did very well to get through to me, because conditions, we had a couple of reports came through later. Mr. Troy said it was very poor from us in Ranby in Fiji, and also Gracious Lady said it was pretty bad as well in the northern part of Vanuatu. But anyway, good morning everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, Patricia and David, this morning on 8779er. And if every now and again somebody could just give a call on 8752 to let people know where we are, I will whip back before the half-past weather start to let people know where we are. This is always a bit confusing, unfortunately, but that's the way life is. People tend to hear something going on a frequency, and despite the fact that it's meant to be reserved for Gulf Harbour Radio worldwide, that is the problem that we have. Anyway, the morning here is actually fine. It's still dry. It's about 90% cloud cover, quite warm, 14 degrees here. 1019.8. It looks as if it's trying to go up. I haven't really even looked at the satellite picture this morning, but it's looking pretty decent outside. Scattered cloud a bit on and off. Probably another laundry day. Yesterday it got up to 18 degrees. It was really quite beautiful outside. A couple of boats have reported were down in Ogier in the southern now. It looks like it's pretty much the same scattered cloud on and off. Good morning to you guys on Alcyon. And reporting in from other places, it looks pretty decent, except for a bit of drizzle in Tongatapu. But first of all, I'm going to find out what it's like at sea outside of Australia. Go ahead, please. Well, he hasn't managed to program 8779, which is a nuisance. Stand by, folks. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, folks. We are on 8779er because of interference. All right, I will wait for outside of Australia to find us and just give you a little bit of a look through what's happening up there. Heat wave are reporting in from the Hawaiis where it's sunny, so you haven't got that drizzle that's down in Tongatapu with the entertainment going on with the Australian Navy. East 5 to 10, 40% cloud, and fairly calm. Oh, the temperature's dropped there, 24 degrees. And Eagle's wings, they're on their way, so this will be an interesting one. They are now at 29. So we should be able to hear them, and they us this morning, 174 east, and they have 5 knots of southerly. I bet the engine's on 1021, and partly cloudy and a very minimal swell. So they'll be motoring to keep their speed up, I am sure, being the old hands that they are. 5 to 10 knots from Obsession, and good morning to you guys. Lovely night for a sail. They're heading to the Hawaiis, 5 to 10 southeast. I think David mentioned before the wind is going to pick up a little bit during the course of the day. A bit of a northeast swell, that's interesting. 10% cloud cover. Sounds pretty nice down in the southern Lau and Fulanga. Southeast 11 to 15, 50% cloud cover. And Jan's kayak had to be fixed. I keep meaning to ask you, Trevor and Jan, whether you go back to the same family when you have repeat visits. I assume you probably do, seeing as you're part of the family now. We have got Fluenta at sea have left New Zealand. They are at 33 and 177 east, and they have, well, let's have a look here, 1017.1 on the bar, about 12 knots of wind from the southwest. That's sort of a bit like it's going to be here, I think, by the look of today. So slightly rising. Mango Moon are probably in much the same area by the look of them, with puffy clouds as well. So there's a few boats that are probably keeping in touch with each other. Surreal way over there in French Polynesia in Moorea, one of our favourite spots. I won't read that because David will get too envious there. So, yep, all is going well, and probably even Liberation might be able to hear us if he's managed to find us on 8779er. Is there anybody wanting to check in, particularly outside of Australia? Oh, God. Well, we've still got the noise on 87. We still have the noise on 8752, and now it looks like we've got radar coming up on 8779er. So it's not going to be an easy morning this morning. Graham, Toranui, can you still hear us okay, Graham? All right, well, we'll stay put here, and we'll just have to, hopefully people will find us. Revilo, I'll have a check whether you've managed to change frequencies, and we'll give you a better radio check with conditions being much better today. Are you on frequency, Craig? No, nothing heard there. I wouldn't mind hearing what it was like from the Huffeyes. Heatwave, are you near the radio? No, nothing heard there either. All right, we'll have to assume that there's very few people have found us this morning, and I will go back to 8752 shortly. But I will give you a bit of news while we catch up with people. You will recall that we were talking about, this is a funny one, the amount of bugs that get transferred with handshaking, and especially in the islands where nobody washes their hands. There was quite a lengthy article in the paper today, and it said that when you shake hands, you transfer twice the number of bacteria that you do if you give a high five, and if you just do the odd butt of the fist like they tend to do in the young people, well, that's even less. So there you are. You'll have to start new way of greeting people and just give them the old fist butt or a high five, or do the Japanese thing and just nod your head. The other thing that was of interest this morning in the paper was, I talked yesterday about how expensive avocados were in New Zealand. This is because the Chinese market has gone berserk. But in Chile, where they also do an awful lot of avocados, they have got a terrible theft problem. And what they're having to do is rip out the avocado trees near where people can get to them and put citrus trees there and put the avocado trees further inland or up in the hills or wherever they put them, so that they're better protected. They're evidently like gold at the moment, certainly at $5.50 to $6 New Zealand per avocado. They would be need to be well protected. For those people that are wanting to follow the New Zealand and French rugby, it is of course on again tomorrow night in Wellington. The New Zealand side is unchanged. They, I meant to look this up. They organisers, New Zealand's getting a bit like America with funny statistics, but they talked about how many burgers there would be sold, containing, I think they said 400 kilograms of pork. And we meant to look up why hamburgers are called hamburgers when they're made of beef. But anyway, I never did look that up on Google. I'm sure Dr. Google will be able to tell me. A bit of serious news. AT&T are merging with Time Warner. I meant to tell you that yesterday. It's a $12 billion deal, which the Republican government are not happy with, because they maintain that it's going to increase the cost of streaming for folk in the United States. And the other big news following on from the meeting between President Trump and Mr. Kim are that the generals are now talking. The North Korean and the South Korean generals are in fact talking to each other. So it does look as if something will come of that meeting, which is good. And for those people, the young people out there, in case you have got cruising around Mars on your bucket list, certainly it's not on my bucket list, but you bear in mind that when they have a storm over there, it does last for weeks, if not months. The reason I know this is that the rover Opportunity got knocked over a couple of days ago, and it can't get up again because there's no sun to charge its batteries. So, and they don't expect sun because of this huge dust storm for several weeks, if not months. All right, well, David has just found that the hamburger did in fact come from Hamburg, which was where it was invented way back in the 19th century. Beef from German Hamburg cows was minced and combined with garlic, onion, salt and pepper and formed into patties. There you have it. That's why it's called hamburger, even if it's got pork in it. Heaven forbid. All right. Have we found Outsider yet? Outsider Australia. Oh, good. Go ahead. Very good conditions today, Ian. Oh, no problem. We thought that you might have not been able to change to this frequency. Go ahead.
Yeah, all well here. We've still got about 15 knots over the east. We've got 50% cloud cover, and yes, we're happily bobbing around here at anchor and resolution. Over.
Yeah, you was beginning to wonder where you were. The bit of a pause there. So 15 knots from the east southeast.
True cruising.
True cruising. Yeah, just checked check where.
Where am I?
Yeah, where am I? Port Resolution, where the east southeast will probably not be too bad for getting soot on the sails. The trouble with we didn't actually take the boat there. I had to fly there because with an in-mast curling, you've got that problem of getting soot all down the gap in the mast, and David was very anal about not putting soot on his new mainsail. So, different word? Oh, okay. All right. So, well, it sounds like all's good there. And when did you get in? Over.
Yeah, thank you very much. You want? Appreciate over.
No problem at all. So, presume, in fact, you had pretty decent conditions, so that was good. All right, we'll have a good rest there. David will give an outlook for what's happening down the bottom. I'm just looking over his shoulder. Cloud comes and goes, as it is pretty much everywhere, but it's not too bad. All right, well, they're going to probably have a restful morning and then work out how to do the check-in procedure, which I'm told now that you don't have to do the lovely trip across to the other side, so that's good. All right, is there anybody else wanting to make contact? Please call. Good morning, Bill. Liberation. You're still in Savu, I presume. That's pretty good, Bill. Surprisingly good for all the competition that you've got around you in Savu. Over. Okay, thank you for that. It sounds like a decent day in Savu. Yeah, it's actually, you people up there have got the best part of Fiji today. I bet it's even good in Ranby. Just looking at what, Diego said scattered cloud up there too, but it's Savu 5 to 8 east southeast, 50% cloud cover and 1015. So a little bit lower barometer from further north. They're going, by the way, David, to Bud Reef today. They caught it, well, there's a lot of good fishing at Bud Reef, but the freezer might have a bit of space in after the wahoo that was caught here yesterday or the day before. They might have donated some of that to leave some space. All right. Anybody else? Clear with Bill? Anybody else? Oh, good morning to Heatwave in the Hapais, and it sounds a pretty good signal, Ron. So good to know that all of Tonga is coming through well today, because it was pretty poor yesterday. How's things going? Over. Yeah, 24 degrees, I see. So, yep, well, you probably wouldn't like it here, but that's why you're up in the tropics. Okay, thanks for that, and a good signal over that side of the Pacific. Is there anybody in Vanuatu? I wouldn't mind hearing Gracious Lady just to see what the propagation's like to Vanuatu this morning. Gracious Lady, you on frequency? Yeah, I know you are there, but it's still too light, and we've got this confounded clicker-clack coming up.
Yeah, Port Resolution.
Yeah, Port Resolution was really good down the bottom there, but well, outside usually has a pretty good signal anyway. But further north, we're struggling a little bit.
There's more cloud.
There's more cloud. Now, that's got nothing to do with propagation.
There's
okay.
towering cumulus.
Before you start telling us about how cloud affects propagation, I am going to pass the microphone to let you talk about what you do know about, and that's weather.
As you can see, we have a definite division of duties here, and I know nothing about radio. In fact, I can definitely prove it. And if you were to see the wiring on the back of our set, the people that have visited us were quite horrified. Hopefully nobody took pictures of it, but if any wire ever came loose from the back of these rigs, we'd be sunk. All right, good morning, and well, there's just not a whole lot to tell you this morning. At 500 millibar, everything that we mentioned yesterday has more or less the same orientation, but the trough and the ridge that we talked about has shifted east just a wee bit. So we'll take a look at the synoptic picture, which is directly related to what happens topside, as you know. And we have a weak high north of New Zealand, and that's extending a ridge over the country. But just to the west, we have that very large depression that is at the moment just south of Tasmania, and that's continuing to extend fronts into the Tasman Sea. And in addition to that, well, we have cyclonic flow from it all the way over almost to New Zealand at the moment. And in that is an occluded front, and that lies just to the west of New Zealand, with a trough from it extending all the way up to Hervey Bay. So a pretty significant length on this feature. Over the cruising route, we've definitely got a cold front. Those of you who left will be sailing through it. It's broad, weak. It lies between New Zealand and Fiji, Tonga, while a quasi-stationary front, which some people are calling a trough up there, lies over Tonga and extends quite weakened to Fiji and then Vanuatu. Now this continues all the way up to the Louisiades, and we have another trough that's running over Rotuma, and it goes north to Tuvalu, while yet another one lies over Tokelau, and it goes again to the four northern Cooks. Now those who have left Wednesday, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, they'll be nearly at 30 south. When you're nearly at 30 south, you should have northwest winds of about 12 to 15 knots. They can't hear us, but this more is for the sake of people who are friends and are listening on the streaming. Now by late Saturday, that's going to be about the same, 12 to 15. So not bad conditions at all. Just to the north is our high center. So expect an area of pretty light and indeterminate winds, I think. You'll have anywhere from northwest to southeast as you traverse the high. This is Saturday now. So it just depends where you are as to the shape of the isobars there. Now by Monday, A cold front is going to lie over New Zealand. We'll have some cloud and showers probably before that, but I think the axis of the cold front will pretty much be over the North Island. That's Monday, and that will extend all the way up to New Caledonia. So those of you in New Cal have got that to look forward to. And the winds then to New Cal at that point are all going to be northwest. So that's not very good. That's on Monday. So hopefully anyone that was going to New Cal would be there before then. Up at 20 south on Monday as well, expect east to east-southeast winds for the Fiji-bound yachts. That's at 20 south, east to east-southeast. And those of you that are heading to Tongatapu, well, you should have arrived in Tongatapu by then on Monday, and the wind should be east-southeast at that point. And these two destinations, Fiji and Tonga, they would have had a fairly decent weather window for this trip. So those that left Tuesday, Wednesday, you'll get up there with not a lot of drama. There'll be some motor sailing, but not bad really, considering what was just before that and what's after that. Anisha, by the way, should see east-northeast winds for arrival there on that date. Not too good, not too bad, but to the south, the winds are all northerly. So if you're slow, I'm afraid there'll be a lot of tacking to get up to Anisha. Now, those of you that are still in New Zealand, I don't think are going to be going anywhere early next week. By Wednesday, the Tasman low is going to be just to the northwest of North Cape. Not very pleasant conditions if you were to leave New Zealand at that point. The low, however, has got the interesting effect. It's pulling a lot of energy out of the island. So by next Wednesday, I think we're going to be seeing very light air for Tonga and Fiji and Vanuatu and New Caledonia. So not much air to move around. It should be quite nice. Maybe the water visibility will improve and should be pretty good. Let's hope that holds true. And those couple of boats up in Samoa, if you decide to head to Fiji, then Tonga, is it? Yeah. Either way, they'll have 10 knot easterly, so that's quite mellow conditions to do that. Okay, looking at Tonga now, we've got quite a few boats there, and we do have a weak trough that's over Tongatapu, and you can see this on the loop. Those of you that are sitting in sunshine will wonder what I'm talking about, but these clouds are coming and going, and the loop does indicate that this whole thing is drifting north a bit. So expect to have a little bit of help in filling the water tanks. You probably had more rain last night. This includes the Hapais as well, by the way. Imagery this morning shows Vavau to be quite nice, but I suspect clouds going to meander north to occasionally block a little bit of the sun later on, but nothing major. And this whole trough is breaking up, so there's not a whole lot in it at all. Now, conditions at Vavau at 5 a.m., these are actuals that I'm picking up, showed rather calm conditions at the airport. Scattered cloud at 1,800 and 3,000 feet. They're able to determine the height of the cloud. And nearly 100% humidity. The temperature is 19 C and the dew point's 18. So that's really, really wet. Barometer reads 1015 if you want to check. In the Hapais, calm there as well. At the airport, scattered clouds, 1,700 feet, and the temperature 24 C, dew point 23. Pretty humid there, nearly 100%. Early showers were reported at the airport. It was still dark at that point in time. Barometer 1016 for you to check that. In Tongatapu airport there, easterlies 12 knots. Showers and occasional rain. Low cloud 800 feet at the time of this observation, and plenty of towering cumulus. And these are the type of clouds that are going to give you some very strong gusts on occasion. So they're scattered in between broken cloud, which is up there at 11,000. And the temperature was 21, and barometer 1017 for Tongatapu. So for most of Tonga, expect southeast winds around lunchtime, I think 10 to 15 knots in the mean. They'll be higher in showers, and at times they could be a lot less as well. Tomorrow, southeast 10 to 15 for Vavau, and probably south-southeast, still about 10 to 15 for the Hapais, and winds tend to pick up a bit after lunch, as you know. Moving over to Fiji, well, it's a mixed bag there. Now, the trough does lie over the southern half of the group, leaving the northern half with pretty fine weather. Most of the heavier cloud, looking at imagery, is over southern Viti Levu, Kindavu, and the far southern Lao, the very bottom part of the Lao group. And that's broken as well. So you can have sun, cloud, that kind of thing. And as yesterday, we've got strong winds in the Batui Rock Pass and also the Kindavu Passage. In fact, Fiji Met has issued a strong wind warning for those areas, southeast 20 to 25 knots. And the rest of Fiji, out in the open water, probably 15 to 20 out of the southeast. Similar conditions tomorrow. Vanuatu does show troughing conditions over much of the group. The main affected areas, though, are to the north. The clouds are broken in spite of all this, so we'll see again the sun on and off up there, and looks much the same tomorrow. The winds have picked up from the banks down to Arabango. Boy, it's looking like maybe southeast 20 knots in the mean, and higher gusts, and a bit lighter for the Tana down to Anisham area. And all of that is going to be much the same tomorrow. So call in for details if you need them. New Caledonia, they've got plenty of broken cloud on the satellite loop. So today by lunch, expect easterlies, 10, 12, up to 15 knots in our area. Partly cloudy, about the same tomorrow. East to maybe east-northeast, 10 to 15, and also partly cloudy tomorrow. And again, call for details if you need them. So that pretty much ends my report, and I'll pass the mic to the chief and put the best ears on the job. Here she is.
All right, I was just breezing through some of the news on the Yatsit site. It's always good to read what people are doing in places that are warmer and more pleasant than what we've got here. All right, anybody for Gulf Harbour Radio? Any questions, comments, or anything at all? In fact, please call. Here's a Gracious Lady, and if you, I could actually imagine what Gracious Lady are after. They're going to be heading either from Orly or a bit further south. Actually, we enjoyed Orly up there at the top of Espiritu Santo. Don't know why you're rushing up, but anyway, they're heading up to Solar. David is just having a look for more detail for your passage. It can get quite sporty up around that area, so you do have to be prepared for a bit of burst of activity, but you'll really enjoy it, and I'm going to pass the microphone. Is that what you were after, over? All right, I'm not understanding what Hillary had to say. I'll just check with anybody who might be able to relay, and then we'll pass the microphone to look at whether up there, the top of Espiritu Santo into the banks. Was there anything I've missed? Thanks, Bill. All right, here's David.
Okay, good morning, and I'm looking right now at the satellite loop, and these clouds are moving quite rapidly. The clouds that I do see, a good many of them are rain-bearing, and there's a number of them that just passed through the Banks area, actually going west, going from east to west. So they're low clouds. They do have rain in them at the moment, though. It's quite clear up there, and up where you are too. It's looking pretty decent. Wind-wise, there's a fair amount of breeze, and I would call it southeast 20 knots, east-southeast to southeast 20 right through dinner time today. Now, in very close, a lot of times it's lighter air because the wind tends to rise, and you don't quite get the amount of air that you get further outside. But the passage up to the banks, though, that's open water, and there's a fair amount of wind. And that's looking right through dinner, and I'll take a look later in the evening.
Keep your voice up.
And it's the same. It's all southeast, east-southeast to southeast, and still looking like 20 knots. And again, if you happen to be unlucky to get under some of these bigger clouds, you can have higher gusts than that. We know that area well. It could be kind of rotten in there. The seas tend to be short and uncomfortable, as the chief will attest. But that's what it's looking like. Now, whether or not this trough totally disappears, it looks like it wants to. So we'll have to see what happens there. Let's hope it does. But it's a great area to go to, that's for sure.
All right, well, we'll look forward to hearing an update from when you get further north there. I'm sure that family will really enjoy it. I've just been reading, whilst David has been talking about weather in up there, the report from Heatwave. They are actually at Namuka Iki in the Hapais, and it has been leased to an Australian by the Crown Prince, and it's managed by a local man called Joshua. They're developing a marine research facility there and have PhD students conducting research on various marine life and reef ecology. They've also started, the locals, a Royal Namuka Yacht Club, and they're going to be teaching local children to sail. So anybody that visits, I'm sure you'll get, it would be great if you could participate in that. They're trying to encourage the children into athletics and their families into the value of tidying up their village, which sounds as if it might be a little bit of a challenge, a long-term goal. So that sounds pretty interesting there at Namuka Iki. So thanks for that report, Ron and Sue. All right, is there anybody else with any specific questions? No, well, we'll leave you all to your glorious day. It's still, it's actually not looking very wonderful here. I'm glad we did a laundry day yesterday. Very low cloud and just a bit dull and dismal. Okay, David's got out the charts here to look at where Namuka Iki is. All right, we will be back again tomorrow, folks. We don't have too many on streaming anymore. It's evidently Whitehawk are reporting that it's pretty lonely at Marsden now. Good morning to Peter and Ellen on non-stop. Well, they're going to be heading up to the Hapais over the weekend too. Cheers, everybody. Have a good day. We'll be back again tomorrow. And don't forget, Saturdays are very, very casual as far as we are concerned. We will certainly give weather for anybody that calls in, sure, but we are not going to do a great deal of prepared weather. So if you want anything in particular, you will need to pick up that microphone and give it a go. I know we're in the digital age, but there are some things that still require the hands to do something other than attack a keyboard. All right, cheers, everybody. Have a good day. We are clear.